This is the first cast I've done in a while with like no facial hair. It looks so.
Alright,
so
you
good,
shaved.
Mark.
No Captain America beard.
Yeah, I just wasn't going good, and then everywhere else, like, you know, it wouldn't grow in certain places, and then like the other places it was growing was just getting too long and looked unproportioned, and I was like, I could do this, and I think you kind of screwed me because when you said that thing of, you know, the water, the sun, or the breeze in your face in summer, I kept thinking about that every time I went for a
true.
I went for a swim last week, and I got up and I was like, oh, this caterpillar on my face is gross. So.
Oof.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to GeekVerse Podcast, episode 138.75. The reason we're doing this because Luke Cage was, or not 100. Oh man, 130. Well, we're going way back in time. No, it's 198.75 because Luke Cage was 98.5. This is 98.75 because newscast this week, and then next week is our 3-year anniversary, and we're, you know, inflating the numbers or deflating the numbers so we can have the 3-year anniversary and our 200th episode at the same time, which I'll get in that more in a second. I am the smooth Travis Snell, the smooth criminal. Just like Mark.
God.
Wow, not even a nickname.
No, I totally spaced with this.
I feel like there's thousands of nicknames for you to pick from this movie.
From the movie or from the franchise? That's the question.
Alan.
Oh my god.
Wow.
This is
not what I was expecting. I was expecting a long, solid nickname.
A long, solid nickname. I am these creatures were here first, Taylor Field. Oh, it's horrible. Fuck.
Help me out, big guy. How's the Jurassic World Evolution going?
The game?
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic.
How much have you been playing it?
It's not a game I can sit down and actually, you know, play for like half an hour. When I sit down, I have to actually commit to like 2 to 3 or more hours playing this game to do like the missions and everything. But I am almost unlocked my Indoraptor. Wow.
And then, so you gotta keep the park and everything happy? Like, is there a meter of people being pleased or whatnot?
There's like a 5-star rating. I mean, I don't really care about what the people want because I think the system.
So you're telling me you're like at a 1-star?
No, I can get. For some reason,
I don't care what the people want.
No, I can only get to like a 4.5.
What are you, the head of DC Films over there?
I'm trying to be Feige.
I don't care. That's not it, Feige. I don't care what the people want. We do what I want.
No, it starts off basically with one island, and then as you reach to a certain progression amount on that island, then you unlock the second island, and there's 5 islands that you can access.
Wow.
So it's just going from island to island, and over the course, like, you may finish the first island but not unlock everything yet. So you go to the second island, unlock more, and I'm on the 5th island, so I'm trying to unlock everything. And then I can go back, and I'm going to restart all the islands with everything unlocked. Just do a second run through, but no, it's good. There's lots of action, and
where could the people hear more about that if they were interested in this video game?
I highly recommend buying the video game. You can hear and experience.
But maybe they need to hear somebody review it before they buy that video game.
Yeah, you know, go onto our YouTube because there's the review for the Jurassic World Evolution. It's been a while since I've done a podcast.
I guess E3 for you, hasn't it been?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a while ago, yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. It's been, Taylor's Rusty. I'm Rusty. I just called him Dylan, so I'm older than that. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, check that out. I feel like I threw a smooth transition, but it didn't work out there. Also, Taylor, what do we have coming up next week? What anniversary are we on? I don't think you're gonna get this one, but I'm telepathically telling you what to do. What anniversary are we on?
Do you mean like a year anniversary or?
Well, what year are we coming up on?
Year 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
3.
Oh, you're going for
yeah, you know.
Oh, right.
I knew the whole day I was gonna throw that to him, and I kept going back and forth. I'm like, will he do it? Will he not? No. Year 3, ladies and gentlemen, just like the Wolf Order. Boom. We can. Our W's are weird, but which, speaking of, Gauntlet will be officially back after Comic-Con. I've said that a couple times. We've been super busy. E3 kicked our asses. We've been trying to coordinate cast, this and that. So that's why for me, instead of saying, hey, it might be this week, after Comic-Con is when it's going to come back. You're going to get a lot of stuff. You're going to get the team tournament. Taylor's going to shot Kirkland Panther for the sports title. Right. And we have, I can't reveal the match yet, but we have a huge match that is being planned. And it's also a match that takes a lot of time editing. There's been tough things in my schedule. So that's why I want when Gauntlet to come back. I don't want it to be, one match a month. I want it to be back on a regular schedule. So we'll be coming back because I know you fans, when we miss out on stuff, you ask about stuff. So we got that, and then next year is our 3-year anniversary. What I'm going to ask you guys to do, if you're watching this, if you're a fan, if you're a new fan, old fan, I don't care if you're a fan from another dimension, on Facebook and on Twitter, the pinned posts are, we want you to send in your questions. We've done this the past 2 years. We've done some great questions before. What we do is for our anniversary shows, we just, as the cast, we ourselves have questions for every one of us. They could be personal, behind the scenes, geek related, anything like that. It's just a fun, laid back cast, and we take questions from the fans. We take anything. Even if you want to ask, hey, why is Travis a fucking idiot? I'll tell you I'm a fucking idiot. Well, we got a great question already yesterday of F, Marry, Kill between Mads Mikkelsen, Michael Fassbender, and Robert Downey Jr. That's a legitimate question we got. So
between Mads,
Fassbender and Robert Downey. Yeah. Don't answer now. That's next week. That's so we all gotta do that. So send in your questions. You have until July 6th because that's when we're taping it. The actual episode will be up July 9th, our actual 3rd year. But we gotta, there's 6 of us, so we gotta coordinate these things. So you have until July 6th. Get in those questions. We'll answer them all, and it'll be a fun time. And then next week also is Ant-Man review. Speaking of July 6th, that'll be live, and I think that's gonna be a good old time. I don't think I'm gonna be blown away like Infinity War, but I think we'll have a couple chuckles. So yeah, lots of stuff. And then newscast this week as well. Got lots to talk about. Got Predators to talk about.
Yes.
Jared Leto is. I like half of that trailer, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Oh really?
I'm a little iffy on some. I'm a little iffy on some of the reveals. So then I got Leto as another Marvel character. Another
Marvel character.
You haven't heard about this in the group chat?
Is Morbius Marvel?
Yeah, he's a Spider-Man villain.
Oh, you're shitting me.
Yeah, but
you're right, the vampire. Oh, fuck.
So we got a lot to talk about in the newscast this week, but what we're going to talk about right now is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. A big thing as far as Taylor has tattoos about it is Jurassic Park thing. We talked about Jurassic World the first on our first cast. Like we said, he just reviewed the video game. Who wants to go first? Okay, I'm going to go first. So I love the Jurassic Park series. Jurassic Park, even the trilogy to me as I've gotten older, those films, the 2 and 3 are obviously not the highest quality, but for me it's very much, it's a little less of that, but it's like the Pirates trilogy. The Pirates trilogy, I love all 3 of those movies. I can't say like I love Jurassic Park 3, but I thoroughly enjoy it. And yeah, for other reasons. And I think Lost World is a really solid pick too. Jurassic World I really liked. And then as I watched it more, I wasn't a fan of it. I hated those kids. Like, they really grained on me. I remember when I really realized I didn't like it because not that I didn't like it, but I didn't like it as much as the first time because I saw it was in awe. Second time I was like, oh, all right. And then I went to a drive-in, and then I fell asleep at the drive-in, and that for me was like, okay. And I feel like there's some slow parts, and there's some stuff that people have brought up as like, yeah, it's a little annoying that dinosaur can kind of do whatever they want and everything like that. So this movie, I had low expectations because the trailer... I was not a fan of this movie. Taylor would know this. I was not a fan of this movie. It was probably one of my least favorite movies I've ever seen since we've been doing the cast. And I think the thing is, it's not that it's once again, I always try to preface this isn't like The Do-Over or something like that, where it's like so bad as that level is like one of the worst movies ever made. I think it, for me, is one of the lesser like blockbuster movies because those are on a different scale. And I guess for me is... The reason I think everyone loves Jurassic Park, the first one, is because like it asks a lot of morality questions, right? Like the first half of that movie is, hey, we can do this, but should we do it? And they go into Dr. Grant's feelings, Ian Malcolm's feelings, Hammond's feelings, like all of them. They really explore them. And then with this movie, like as you've seen in the trailers, the first big theme of this is, should dinosaurs exist? Should we treat them as like animals? And that was where the part for me is I'm disappointed because I feel this movie is very much like Pirates of the Caribbean. Was it Dead Man Tells No Tales?
Yeah.
Yeah, where I love the franchise. And I really want to do well, and it's just because there are certain things that disappointed me so much. That's why I disliked it so much. And for me, 2 examples I can use as far as like a good example and a bad example. So, Batman vs. Superman. We've talked about that many times. They pose a great question in that movie. They say, should a Superman exist? And really, that is a great question of, yeah, if there was a real Superman, should he be in our world? Should he follow laws, blah, blah, blah? but they don't really get into that. They just have a few lines. There's one little court scene. That's about it. It's very similar to, maybe this movie.
Yeah.
And then there's a movie like, for me, The Dark Knight, which is on bias. It's my favorite movie of all time. But one of the themes is, how far are you willing to go to stop a criminal? And we see from Jim Gordon's perspective that he's willing to go far, but not risk his family or his badge. You see Batman, who's willing to go against the law, be a hidden figure, and do things that are, a little questionable and shady, but he's trying to catch the Joker. And then you see someone like Harvey Dent, who's trying to stay purely by the books, but he gets broken. And the whole movie is about these three characters going through that experience. And that's what, and this is like a very minor spoiler, but I feel like this movie, and that's where I was really disappointed, was that those questions that I was worried about that in the trailer, that those questions are brought up, but they are answered very quickly, and it's more of an action sci-fi movie, and that's where, and the other sequels do that too. That's where Jurassic Park, the original, combines those two very well. Where this, I felt, was just very actiony, and I felt was a little over the top. There's a few scenes that, we'll talk about, that I thought were, I laughed because I just couldn't believe they're happening. I was just like, this movie is a wild movie, and it's a roller coaster movie. And I just think at times it felt a little too Sci-Fi Channel. Like when we talked about that trailer months ago and we looked at all the shark movies, it felt like a Sharknado at times. And that's where, for me, I was very caught off guard, and I didn't want that in a Jurassic Park/World movie. But I will say this is a very big positive, that the ending of the movie has me very excited and very intrigued for the future. Because it's something that I want to happen. I'll tell you in our spoilers, but it's something that ended the way where I'm like, this is exactly where it should end. And I'm excited. I don't know how that's going to go with Colin Trevorrow, but you know what? I like Jurassic World more than this. I'll put faith in them. I've not seen that movie Book of Henry that people say is an awful movie, so I'm going to watch it soon. Have you seen Book of Henry?
No.
Last year you did a movie people said it was like one of the worst movies ever, so I want to watch it and see why it's that.
Yeah.
But so I have interest in where the franchise could go, but this movie was not a movie for Travis Snail. It was not, and you're gonna probably give it quite a bit of praise, and then Dylan is very much in the middle. I don't know what Kirkland feels, but I think I'm in the minority as far as I think people like it or dislike it. I dislike it to quite like a Suicide Squad level, but I don't know. I had a strange experience because there's many things in this movie that took me for a wild ride. So before we get into spoilers, Taylor, what did you think about this movie?
Well, I'll kind of piggyback on what you're saying a little bit there, about, you say you feel like you're in the minority, but it's hard to tell really, because when I look at what people are saying online about it, it seems like a lot of critics, for the most part, that have reviewed the movie, they aren't fond of it. But then when I look at what the fans are saying, like fan pages and everything, there's tons of people that, the fans, love the movie.
Well, that's the thing, why I guess I feel I'm in the minority, because I feel this movie it's more, I feel it is like Transformers, so I think that's, you're a big fan of those movies, so that's why I know you like those, but the thing with Transformers is I always, until I met you, I knew one other person like Transformers, and to me Transformers I was always wondering where these people were coming from, this money was coming from, because they never spoke about it. It was like Trump voters, they just are in their secret caves and they don't talk, but with this movie, I would say Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's a 56, so that's the definition of it's a divisive movie. When people say, the critics were divided on BVS Suicide Squad, no, those are 20% movies. That's a clear majority. I think critics are kind of 50-50 because for me, I see it's to me, the way people are really enjoying it are the same way they enjoy the Fast and Furious movies, a fun, fast, dumb action movie where it's just and I don't think that this movie's, I think it does some dumb things, but I think what they're tackling wasn't dumb, but I think and I do think that this is more for families than a Fast and Furious and a Transformers. And that's why I say, I guess I'm not in the minority because Transformers make lots of money, but this made quite a bit of money still, and it made more money than it was expected because I wasn't sure, because even Jurassic World, we've talked to similar people that had that I liked it but not as much as when I rewatched it, but it didn't really show in the the box office for this movie, which is, we rarely do reviews after that happens. So people are coming back. I'm interested to see what happens this week, that'll be the real telling of what people really feel about it, because there's no movies coming out, I think, this week that are that big. So I think I'm in the minority as far as how much I dislike. I think there's people that may not like it, but they look for a fun popcorn flick, and I don't want that. It's the same way as Pirates of the Caribbean. I do want that, but the first Pirates had such as magic. I don't want to feel that.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just I say this about Aliens. It's my worry about the Predator. it's just sometimes some of these movies, I'm like, maybe we'll just never, for me, get like a movie as good as the shirt Taylor's wearing. You know, maybe there's one great movie about Jurassic coming back,
Jurassic
dinosaurs coming back, and the rest are gonna be, you know, just a good old action time. So,
you know, for me, gosh, you know, my Jurassic Park experience goes way back. You know, Land Before Time. Back when I was just a little tyke, you know.
That's dinosaur experiences, not Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's Steven Spielberg.
Really?
Yeah, I think Steven Spielberg, and I think I want to say George Lucas.
Are you just making this up?
No, I'm not even
Land
kidding.
Before Time.
Yeah, Land Before Time.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Littlefoot and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look it up. I'm very confident it's Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. But yeah, no, the Land Before Time, that's what kickstarted me into the whole dinosaur trend, and finally I remember...
wow, yeah, executive produced by George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Lucasfilm, wow.
Fantastic.
I should get George to write one of these Jurassic Park movies, you know, that'd be interesting.
Incorporate aliens somehow into that.
Dino-chlorians.
Harrison Ford. No, I think no, when after I moved on from the whole Littlefoot phase, though, I remember, and I still have it, my VHS copy of Jurassic Park.
I just like that you had a Littlefoot phase in your life.
Littlefoot phase. Oh yeah.
I watched those movies. They're good.
They're so good. But
how do you feel about Disney's dinosaurs?
You know, I didn't mind it.
Yeah, I don't love it.
It's not something I could rewatch like a lot of, but every once in a while I'll watch it. It's definitely blunt. Mm-hmm. It's got some scary moments, but it's a good animated film. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I still got my VHS copy of Jurassic Park, and I remember when I was little, and I walked into like our movie room, and I found this there, and it was on the shelf. I never watched it yet, and I grabbed it, popped in the VHS player, and I was like,
"What are you doing in there?"
Away. Yeah, I got spanked. No, it was honestly fantastic, and I remember I didn't know that there was a Jurassic Park or a Lost World, and then Jurassic Park 3, but at the time Jurassic Park 3 was coming out in theaters, and I saw Jurassic Park 3 in theaters actually.
That to me was the first one as well.
That you saw in theaters?
Yeah,
really?
3,
oh wow.
Yeah.
I remember after that that came out, and I was in Walmart. My mom got that on VHS and the Lost World Special Edition on VHS. So I got the whole OG trilogy on VHS. I love it. Had it since I was little, and it's great. And for the longest time, I was just waiting for Jurassic Park 4 to be announced or dropped. I would always go home after school, Google images.
Always go home?
I'm not even exaggerating this. I would always go home. I would go onto Google, I would type in Jurassic Park 4, and I'd look at all of the Google images of the art and stuff, and I think,
I'm glad that movie did not happen.
Well,
the whole hybrid human dinosaurs.
Yeah, I didn't want that. The concept art scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, we'll talk about some stuff in the spoilers review where I'm a little scared of.
Yeah, but no, it was something that was just highly anticipated for me, and finally when it was announced and it came out, couldn't have been happier. And Jurassic World, loved Jurassic World, thought it was fantastic. You know, I wasn't expecting all that stuff, like Mosasaur, hybrid dinosaurs, which is much better than hybrid humans. And yeah. No, it was definitely a thrill ride, and I'll come back to this and touch upon part of that when we get into the spoilers. But
foreshadowing.
But yeah.
What did you think about this movie?
Oh, right.
Jesus! you just said what you liked about everything about Jurassic Park. Because I don't even know if you like this movie more than the first one. For some reason, I thought you would. Just because, I don't know, I just had a feling you would like this.
Did we rate the first one when we did
No,
the cast?
because we started the cast right after that.
Right.
Yeah, we never did. That's what we're going to at some point if we ever do a retro. But we never. That was one of the biggest movies we still haven't reviewed.
Well, when we do the retro, I'll save my review, or not my review, but what I would give it number-wise.
Okay.
But as far as this movie goes, I mean, Jurassic World did so many things right that was just really nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom did so many things right for me that I wanted out of this franchise to happen. So
I'm interested to see what those are, because there's... Oh, no, it's one of them, but okay, fair enough.
Gosh, I don't know. I mean, well, I'm not giving it the number rating yet.
Wow.
But I mean, I don't want to say if I like it more than Jurassic World.
We might not be doing a retro for like another year. I don't think people are going to remember that.
It's true. I don't know. I feel like I like them both very equally.
Okay.
And that is because they do justice for each different thing that they were tackling.
Okay.
So I think it's good. But yeah, no, spoiler wise, when we get to that, there's a lot more stuff I'll be able to bring up.
Okay, so we're gonna get spoilers in a 3, 2, 1. If you've not seen the movie, come back. We'll still be here, and if you have, then enjoy the rest of the review, because yeah, I think there's gonna be things that I liked or that I didn't like and Taylor really liked, and we can have a good discussion.
Not
about
the
this.
other way around.
Yeah,
that you liked and I didn't like.
Yeah, and have a good discussion about this and counterpoint, because so what are these things that it fulfilled for you as a fan that you wanted to see?
Right off the bat, my main huge thing when I was little that I wanted was the dinosaurs to be on the mainland.
Okay, fair enough. You got that in Lost World though.
In Lost World, I just got the T-Rex, and that was beautiful. I loved it, but it wasn't enough to satisfy me.
Okay.
So
that's, I guess, my contention is, like, I feel like we don't really get them in the main world that much. We get them in a house. I feel like the next movie, again, like I said, last chance for spoilers. The next movie, we're gonna get them all over the mainland. But I don't think this movie. I think this movie was not Jurassic Park in the mainland. It was Jurassic Park in the house.
In the mansion.
Yeah, in the mansion. The mansion that I don't know the layout of that house at all. Like, it made no sense at the time.
Make much sense.
It felt like a house of mirrors. It's just like these rooms were materializing. I'll get into that later, but yeah. So that's the only thing. I thought that we didn't see them on the mainland too much. You know.
Well, I guess I liked how it was setting up for it. I guess the whole build up of you know it's coming. You know these dinosaurs are going to get away. Even though I definitely stand on the side that they should kill the dinosaurs.
Well, yeah, I get, and that's where I come into, though. Like, they kind of do that last minute with Claire and like making this decision and everything like that. But I wish more of the movie is that, because I feel like the movie opens with them in the court and Ian Malcolm's there, but then they literally just cut to the news like, well, we've decided we're gonna let them die. Like, I felt like there was going to be this big conversation, and some people might find that boring, but I don't. I feel like discussing ideologies and everything like that for movie characters, especially for something that hopefully we're never talking about in the near future, like should dinosaurs be a real thing, or should they be animals or treated as such and have rights, and that's where probably the movie for me started off on a really sour note, because they went over that really quickly. That's maybe first 5 minutes, and then it's into like action adventure time, and that's what was really disappointing me. Start with that, but that's why I'm surprised you like cocked your head when I said I liked how it ended, because when we did the trailer, whether it was the first one or the second one, I said like I want them to plan the apes this. I want the next movie. I don't know if it's gonna be full on post-apocalyptic, but I want that. I want post-apocalyptic like world, and there's dinosaurs around. Like pretty much just go like to the caveman age, but with us having this technology and stuff like that. So that's where the whole movie they got me at the end, where I was still like I was not enjoying myself. But I'm still going to be there for the next one, because I really because that's something finally different. Because for me, this felt like Force Awakens again, where it was like a greatest hits of everything. Other than some of the, I guess, we never had a monster in a mansion, but like the bidding, like the very first act of this movie, other than the volcano, is very much like Lost World, where you got, even the characters, you got all your sleazy hunters, and they're all acting the same, and they just round these animals up. And that was the thing where it felt like similar to all these other movies, but then like less than for me, but I like where they ended, because I like the potential of a world falling apart, and then even though I don't think now we should have called these first two Jurassic World, because I feel like the next movie will really be Jurassic World, so they should have thought about that one before they blew their load on the title. So
yeah, another thing that I really liked was the whole kind of background, the background atmosphere of how it's kind of like with Ian Malcolm was talking about how, nature, or I guess in the other movies too, nature selected them for extinction, and, you can't change that. And now, in the courtroom, he was stating that it wasn't really an act of God, but it was just, it was like nature taking its course to, solidify that these dinosaurs are supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great, that whole idea behind that, and, surely humans' interaction came into play, and they brought the dinosaurs away, but then nature took its course again, and they were going to die in that the laboratory or the pens later on. I just liked how nature kept putting its foot down to delete them from the history book, not the history books, delete them from
kind of
delete them from the face of the earth. And I like that kind of Ian Malcolm touch, because I always find his character to be great.
He's great. Were you disappointed that that's all he was in? Because that was another disappointment of this movie for me. And for me, if you go back and watch them, they showed a lot in the trailers. They showed that whole volcano sequence. They showed Chris Pratt saving that girl, the dinosaur. Like, a lot of the bigger scares they showed. For me, that's the same thing. I really like Spider-Man Homecoming, but go listen to our review. Like, I was down on that quite a bit because I knew, like, oh, this is happening, this is happening. That's what many times with this movie I felt it was a little predictable, because I'm like, oh, this part of the trailer hasn't happened yet. And clearly, because you know island or mansion, there's only two sets, so you know where they're going to go. And then plus, anytime there's a big thing about to happen, I was like, okay, here comes Pratt, here comes that. So that's another thing for me that I think kind of soured the experience, because trailers do that a lot this time. But were you disappointed at all with Ian Malcolm? Because, like, for me, I don't know if he could have fit anywhere into the movie more, unless they did, to me, more of the beginning of talking about should these dinosaurs exist or not, you know, where they just kind of had them as to start and to bookend the movie. So
I didn't mind him. I think as far as, you know, his scenes in the trailer seemed a little bit more kind of mellow, and a lot of the stuff he says in the trailers seemed very cheesy and that sort of stuff. But I feel like when he's talking in the courtrooms, it was a lot of new lines and stuff that he didn't actually say in the trailers.
Yeah, because a lot of stuff in the trailers just felt... Did he ever say life finds a way in the movie? No. So
I wanted him to.
I'm fine with him not saying that, because...
Too cliche.
Yeah, a little cliche. So I think they just had him say that stuff for the trailers. Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that I want to bring up, because you're talking about stuff that they did that you really liked, and I thought you were going to bring this up, and maybe you like it, and I think you do, but for me, tell me why, as a Jurassic Park fan, that we need a human clone around. Because that for me was a big... I didn't feel it was earned. I didn't feel we needed this, and for them to do this thing at the end with her releasing the dinosaurs, and they're like, oh, they're alive, just like me. Like, I still think you could have done that with just a little kid. A little kid could have seen these dinosaurs. Like, you could have had still that same little kid watch Blue's videos, feel for these dinosaurs, and then let them go. Because I didn't feel like you needed a clone thing. I didn't feel like it's going to play in anything, unless, like, some people have worried they are going to do those, like, hybrid human clones. And I don't want that. Like, I don't want them actually to ever mention she's a clone ever again. I didn't feel it was needed, and we didn't really go anywhere with it. And maybe they did because that whole, like, the Hammond ripoff guy, and I hated him because, like, it was just, I hate and that's for any movie. I hate any characters that were, like, there the whole time, but we've never heard a word of them. We've never seen them on screen. Yeah. But apparently for the first 4 movies, this is a guy that was tied to Hammond, and he hasn't even Hammond's fucking, like, cane. And, like, I just felt like a discount. I hated it. I hated that so much. Like, I wanted, like, it just felt like because Hammond's not alive, the actor, we need a stand-in for him. And it's like that. I didn't like that. Like, find a different way. I hate characters that exist but don't exist, you know? Yeah. So you can talk about Hammond and talk about we have a human clone now, and
I mean, I definitely, they could have done a larger, you know, kind of cameo Easter egg, you know, with who she is or who her mother was. I feel like, that being said, like, I definitely don't think they needed to throw a clone girl into the story, but as far as the story goes, I definitely can understand, you know, if you're able to clone like 65 million year old dinosaurs, and you also are the subject or the victim of someone who's lost your daughter, and you have the ability to apply your technology to that scenario, I mean, I definitely don't see why you wouldn't if it's emotionally compromised.
Well, it's unethical, you know.
Yeah, well, John Hammond found that unethical.
Yeah, well, yeah, but maybe they should jump into that in the movie, but they didn't. It's just she's just a clone.
That's all. It was all pillow talk.
Well, so the thing is though, when they clone the dinosaurs, they get into like really specific science of how they did it, and I feel like you couldn't. I feel like they'd almost need to do that with cloning humans, because I feel like cloning the exact same version of a human, like they used, what is it? Was it frog DNA?
Well, the dinosaur was incomplete. It was incomplete genome and DNA from mosquitoes, so that's where they got a little bit, and they had to fill in the sequence gaps with obviously frog DNA. That's why they were dinosaurs, but they didn't look fully like real dinosaurs.
Oh, so I guess he could have just went to his daughter's dead body and.
Oh yeah, and it would have been 110% of a clone, like.
And 110% illegal.
Oh, well, I mean, at that time.
Well, in the
90s.
In the 90s. Why is she that age then still?
I don't know. I'm not sure
that's
whether...
the problem with characters that we don't know where they are, because if they would have been driven apart, then maybe... When did Lost World came out in 90... When did it come out? 98, Lost World?
97. Jurassic Park came out 93, Lost World 97, and Jurassic Park 3 2001.
Yeah, so if... Yeah, 1997. So if, let's say it's 1997, like, because that's when Han was alive, maybe something happened there and drove them apart. She should be much older than she is, I feel, unless she's, like, aging slower, but, like, she's, like... Well, I guess she's, what, maybe supposed to be a 10-year-old girl, I guess?
She's probably about 10 years old.
So I get... Well, no, actually, that would be 2007, so that doesn't make any sense. So that was another thing. I didn't understand the logistics of how this girl existed, or, like, did he just clone her recently? Because if he did, then... You know, like, why Hammond was dead, you know? Like, he wouldn't have cared. Like, he had no say in it, so...
Yeah, that's hopefully something they'll get into a little bit more, because there's definitely a little bit of a gray area there. Like, when was she born? What did he go through with Hammond and all that stuff? Well, we won't know from his perspective.
No, we won't. I feel like I feel like if we didn't need the gray area there, we wouldn't have any gray area if it wasn't a human clone. So I just didn't think it was needed at that point. Another thing I'll ask you, did you feel in this movie that what is this character's name? Don't tell me. Owen and Claire. Oh. I was trying to remember. Do you feel they need to be broken up for this movie?
I think, for a humor standpoint, it was good. I mean, it's been 3 years. So they broke up, and obviously, I think it was funny how they just sneaked it in there, like how he just wanted to live in his trailer, and she just wasn't okay with that. And
he was building the house.
He's building the house, yeah. But no, I like throughout the whole thing, they're just kind of build up on how like they still like each other, obviously. And I thought it was good for the story. I thought it was kind of cute moments and stuff between the two of them, but yeah, I didn't mind it. I think they're getting back together.
Well, yeah, I think so. They like kiss and all that stuff. I'm the reverse, where I think it would have been better for me if they are in a relationship, and this just could have been more of a like strengthening of the relationship. Even the lines when he's like, "Oh, like if I die, just remember like you brought me here." Like I think all those lines still could have been said if they were dating. Because for me, my problem was that the movie ends the exact same way Jurassic World was, right? Where they go through this big long traumatic experience, like literally Jurassic World started with they kind of went on a few dates, they had some chemistry, but it didn't work out. Then they have these adventures, and now they're a couple, and that's exactly what happened in this movie. So for me, it was another like, we've kind of done this already, so I hope in the third one they will be fully together.
It's the adventures that keep the relationship intact, I guess.
Yeah, maybe it's time to change that up. You know? So, I'll give you the floor on the villain. What you thought about him?
Do you remember his name?
No, but I will find it out.
I feel, he's very much like a more cooler version of the
where are you going with this?
John Hammond's nephew from The Lost World.
Okay, fair enough. The little loser guy.
Yeah, I can't remember his name for some reason. Yeah, no, I feel like he's a cooler version of that, and I like the whole idea, them wanting to, bring in Claire and then transfer the islands or the dinosaurs to the island and all that stuff, which is a brilliant plan. I think that was genius, but he wants money, so no. And
he wants money, so
no. And but that being said, I think he was definitely slow at times, and he may not be my most favorite villain of the year. I mean, he's no Thanos
of the year, yeah, I guess so.
But he did his job, and he's definitely dead. So
yeah,
he won't be coming back.
No.
Yeah, no, I just feel like he was just there, just did his job, and I mean, as far as the real villains go, I mean, I feel like
his name was Eli Mills.
Eli Mills. All right. Now I feel like, I don't know, between his relationship with like the discount Hammond, it definitely feels like it was unhealthy. And I mean, there's no way if I was sick and sitting in bed I could tell a younger buff guy to pick up the phone and call the police to get himself arrested. I mean, I wouldn't. He's obviously been sleeping and he's got the drugs connected to him, so he's a little hazy. But you don't tell a criminal to call the cops on themselves. So that's the one takeaway I had from this movie.
Yeah, that whole situation really bugged me. Their relationship, because one, I didn't buy. I know he's sick and everything like that, but they didn't to me play him off as sick enough to not fully be there. Mm-hmm. And when Eli is doing all this stuff in his house, like literally Dr. Wu is fucking losing his mind, being crazy pants down there, while he's just up there like being sick, doing his stuff. And even at the point when he does, like the daughter tells him, and then he finds out, and then he's like, "You think you get away with this, like in my own home?" And it's like, well, he has been the entire movie, and this is so dumb. And then he goes to call the cops, and then he just, once he got the pillow, for me, I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like, he kills him with a pillow, and it just felt so soap opera and cheesy. But I didn't understand the logistics of him pulling, like, the plan is classic Lost World, where, okay, they're going to make a fortune off these dinosaurs, but I didn't get the logistics of him literally getting the dinosaurs there under this guy's nose, not telling him any of these plans, and how does it work that, okay, the second he dies that that's not how it works, ladies and gentlemen. When someone dies, there's months, especially if this was like this guy who's like a millionaire, maybe a billionaire, there would be months of like moving over assets to this guy and everything like that. But like the second he dies, he's like, I'm in control now, I'm the guardian, I'm this. And I was like, that's not the way this world works. Like, he didn't just get everything like right off the bat. So like that was moving really quick, and I didn't understand how all this could be happening. The bidding, like, it was all, I know it was like illegal stuff, but like it felt so over the top illegal that I couldn't get into it. It felt like a Dr. Evil plan at times. Mm-hmm. And I hated that villain guy. He was I don't know, just not the, I don't know if it was an acting thing. I was not into him, but it was that relationship he had with what's the Discount Hammond?
I don't remember his name. I'm just gonna call him
Discount Hammond.
Discount Hammond, yeah.
But yeah, I did not like that at all. And like the stuff that, it was constantly being strange. Like when there's that maid there or whatever, she felt like at one point she was kind of with them when he like literally takes the girl in front of her and just throws her in the room. Mm-hmm. And then she just stands there and does nothing. But then when that guy dies, she's like, oh, well, I want to take after the little girl. Like, she needs somebody. But it's like, you literally just saw this dude like arm toss her in the room and lock the door, and he's just like, she doesn't leave. And like, she's like, oh, whatever. Like, there's just so many red flags going on for all these characters that I was never like, I couldn't find it believable that no one was saying, like, she should call the cops, she should do something, like, I don't know. So I was not a fan of this villain. I was missing Vincent D'Onofrio from the first one, who wasn't the greatest. And even though he's not, like, a villain, I do not like what they continue to do with Henry Wu, because I feel like his motives might be about, okay, he has the David Prometheus creator or complex where he wants to be a creator and everything like that, but I just feel like those scenes when they reveal Wu and he's walking down and he's yelling, I feel like whether it's the choice of the director, the writing, or the actor, somebody's like making him feel really over the top, and he's yelling, he's like, these dinosaurs are alive, and we have to, it reminds me when Dylan does this fucking little British voice. He's like, this is what I am, and like, I can't do it all, so shout out to Dylan Musk, but like, that's how he was acting, and I couldn't find it believable when, even Jurassic World was like, the thing is, okay, he is like a creator, but he's very much like Dave, where like, he's like an evil, like, twirling his mustache type of creator guy, you know, like, he's heightened over as far as being like a little evil, like, he shouldn't, we're past the point now where he can be like, yeah, I still just want to create stuff. Even at the end of this movie, it's like, okay, these dinosaurs are going to be run wild, and he's got all this DNA and whatnot. It's like, what are you going to do? Like, why are you going to want to keep making these things when these things are just, like, destroying the place? And I wish they would get in that more, but he just goes, I'm a creator, and I want to create. Mm-hmm. So, that's what I thought about the villains.
Yeah, Dr. Wu, I definitely, I like his character. I think he's just...
Do you like his character, or do you just like that he's an OG character that is around?
No, because, I mean, he's OG, so it is cool, but I do like his character. I mean, if I could trade him for a different OG character, I'd bring Grant in, easily. No questions asked. But,
that's a big one for me. I don't know what they do at Jurassic World 3, but I would really be down for them to bring the whole gang back, and if they're trying to survive. Even though I was not a fan of this movie, and I don't know if I need more Jurassic Park in my life, I would be down to see Dr. Grant again one more time.
Dr. Grant, Billy, Paul Kirby, and The whole Jurassic Park 3 cast.
Oh no, Paul Kirby. I don't need Paul Kirby back. I need
Billy.
Yeah, maybe Billy, so he can just keep stealing stupid eggs and whatnot. But
no, with Dr. Wu, I like his whole ideology of just wanting to create these things, and he just feels like he doesn't feel like he owns them, but he feels like he's made these perfect things, and it's like it's his work of art that he loves and he's passionate about, and at the end of the day, he's okay with people, he gets paid, and he's okay with other people, taking his perfect pieces of art and displaying them, or using them, but making for the world to embrace and appreciate. And that being said, if something isn't set that way and it's not being used or appreciated in the way that he intends it to be, he'll lash out, like he did obviously with Mills. And I like seeing that side of Dr. Wu when he was freaking out saying, the Indoraptor is not ready, this is a prototype, you can't sell this thing. And again, it's not coming from him being scared like for the people or the public or anything like that, or even the fate of the dinosaur. If for him it was his work of art that was not completed, and it was like, even though what he's doing is like a crime against nature, for him, I mean, to put this prototype unfinished piece of art out there, that is the real crime of nature to him. So I don't know, I think this movie did justice, and I liked seeing him in the lab gathering all this stuff and everything like that. Yeah, again.
It's the exact same shot as Jurassic World. That was one of my annoyance.
My one thing though is I'm wondering, like, is he still employed with InGen?
I don't know.
Because like there is no mention.
He's hanging on this dude's house for months.
Yes, yeah. I want to know, like, where is InGen right now at this point, because Jurassic World introduced InGen again, and they had their hand in the whole Raptor program. And that being said, the Maserati Corporation, from the first movie, they said that last year they profited about $800 million. And now this year, their lawsuits equaled just over $800 million. So the company is fucked.
Well, no, they're breaking even.
Breaking even?
If they made $800 million, just lost $800 million, they're just at a lump sum maybe.
Well,
they gotta make that money.
Though.
Yeah, it does.
But I want to know more, and I want to know, like, what is InGen up to? Because according to Dr. Grant, you're wondering what else they're up to. So.
Okay. According to Dr. Grant. Yeah, and then as far as I guess we already talked about Owen and Claire. We talked about them a little bit, and then obviously their sidekicks and whatnot. Yeah, lots of humor for me. Just personally didn't work. Chris Pratt, who's someone I like watching, I didn't really enjoy that much in this movie. I think for me the biggest thing is I hate that we have, and this is not just Jurassic World thing. I hate that, and they set it up so it worked in this movie, but I was not a fan of the scene that. Every, like, scientist nowadays has to be, like, a badass army guy as well. Like, that happened in Kong, where Tom Hiddleston's, like, he's, like, a tracker. Oh, but he's also spent 6 years in the CIA, or, like, whatever it is. Like, same thing, so they said that with the last movie. I really disliked that scene of, when the Indoraptor's, like, getting released and whatnot, and he's in the auction thing, and he's just taking out guards, like, left, right, and center. Like, he's whipping chairs.
Well, his training, right?
I know, but, like, that's where, for me, I'm not a fan of that in Jurassic Park movies. I hate that nowadays. In every movie, scientists, they have to be a badass.
But he's not really a scientist, though.
For a trainer. He couldn't just be... Why couldn't he just be a trainer?
Well, originally, he worked... And I could be totally long-shotting this, but from what I remember, I think he worked... I think he was a Navy SEAL, and you worked in the Navy, and he worked then and specialized, like his specialty was working with animals and that sort of stuff, and that's why they brought him into the Raptor program. So. Yeah,
I just thought that scene was a little too heightened. He's literally just doing these huge moves. Like I said, at one point he just literally whips a chair at somebody, he's flipping them over. Was a little bit for me and Claire, good thing that they didn't put her in heels this movie. I think they're both fine. Like I said, they don't really have much. They don't really develop at all because Chris Pratt's storyline is, hey, he loves blue, so he's going to get blue. It's like, okay, well, we knew that. Claire kind of had her development in the last movie where she was like, a cold, selfish, like, just businesswoman to caring about these dinosaurs. This whole movie is just caring about these dinosaurs. She makes that choice at the end not to kill them, but for me, that's not much of a big development thing. It's just like, okay, it makes sense because they would hurt the world, and even though we don't get into that much. I was not a fan of those side characters whatsoever. The girls,
really?
The girl in some of those scenes I'll bring up, there were some scenes that really bugged me, and I hated that. I didn't hate the guy actor, but I hate what they did with him on the volcano island or just the island. They did that scream, like his high pitched scream.
I love that.
Once was fine with me, maybe twice, but the fact that he did it probably about 5 to 6 times, it was really grating on me. So yeah, I did not like them at all. I was kind of hoping they would die, or we could have cut scenes of them and we got a shorter movie.
The girl had a lot of her cut scenes, or her scenes cut.
Well, I know she's a bisexual character.
Yes, she is.
But they left in the scene that's identical to Lost World, where she's repairing a dinosaur's leg and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that between the two of them, they didn't have enough screen time to warrant them being annoying. And I love the tech guy. I think he was hilarious. He just couldn't stop saying, "Is that the T-Rex? Is that the T-Rex?" I feel like if I was in that situation, I'd be saying the same thing. "Is that the T-Rex?" I'd be totally freaked out.
Fair enough.
I like Claire in this movie. I felt for her character. It was definitely a step down what she was doing.
Really?
But, yeah, she was making a good solid paycheck probably at the park, and now she's.
Oh, I thought you meant okay. I see what you mean. I think you meant like the character.
No.
As far as you liking her, so
no.
Okay.
And that's I didn't clue into this, but that's Gwen Stacy.
Yeah. The original
fantastic.
Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
Spider-Man 3. They used her so well,
But yeah, no, I liked Owen Grady as well. I really, really loved the scene, and it felt really cool to see Dr. Grant's
his table.
Sorry.
Taylor just literally punched the table for no reason.
You remember the cars, the tour cars in Jurassic Park 1?
Yeah.
You remember what the car Blue jumped onto? For the lava scene?
Oh.
Yeah, that was the one the T-Rex flipped over the paddock. And Tim and Dr. Grant were inside the cars that fell down the tree or whatever.
What happened to those kids?
I don't know. I wish they would answer that question.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I love that scene, getting to see the car. I love those old school, kind of things, like throwbacks to the originals.
Yeah.
I love that lava scene when Chris Pratt was waking up and he was just crawling away or rolling away. Did you enjoy that?
Not at all.
You didn't enjoy it? Oh
I don't.
my God.
I'm not a big fan though. In general, I think the only one people you can say I'm an idiot all you want, so give it to me. But I think Marvel is the only one that for me has gotten the life-threatening situation we can make a joke because they build those characters up. Where that's where sometimes this movie for me it felt too much like a Bugs Bunny cartoon, like the way he's like, and then like his face would be like it was too comedic, and it's like this is lava, and like it went on for a little too long, and then there was this random kid beside us who just loved the scene, and that grated on me more because I was just like this
Dylan's cousin, right?
Little Jimmy, yeah. He was just laughing so loud, and he had an annoying laugh, and I was like, this isn't funny, kid, but and that's the thing. I'm a big downer, and other people that I was with didn't enjoy the movie, but there's many people around the movie that that did enjoy it, so I took that. But yeah, I didn't find much of the humor. Stuff made me laugh, but not on purpose in this movie. So yeah, I did not like that lava thing, but clearly you liked it.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you have any other big points to show? Because I have a quick list of things that grind my gears a little bit that just continue to knock on my annoyance throughout this movie. But
yeah, one thing I'll throw out, I love the beginning of the movie. I think it was
I actually thought it was good. Yeah, that was good.
The whole introduction, it was dark and cringy. I feel like, if this was a setup for like a video game, I would totally be down to go to like a broken down park with the dinosaurs running around. And it was stormy and everything, and I thought I just got eerie feelings of just the whole submarine going into the I don't know what, I guess the pen or the enclosure, the mosasaur enclosure, and it was so freaky with the mosasaur above them and everything like that. And
well, I think that scene worked because we can talk about this. I imagine it worked for you, but they were talking about how they were going to try and bring a lot more horror elements back to this. I felt like other than that, it didn't really work, and I feel like even what is the hybrid raptor again?
Indoraptor.
The Indoraptor, they tried it, which they were just doing Jurassic Park in the kitchen sort of things. They tried that, but I didn't find it too scary because that dinosaur was so big that I felt like it could have just destroyed stuff and got out of the way. Like, one thing that really bugged me is when this dinosaur is just destroying everything left, right, and center, and then that girl gets in like the laundry chute and closes it, and the dinosaur can't get through that. It just like headbutts. It's like, oh, and it gives up and goes away. You know, like that's where for me they tried the horror aspects, but near the end and in the middle they made it so heightened, like everything was so fantastical and like action wise. They tried to bring it back down. For me, it didn't work. Other than the beginning, it worked, but. Did the other stuff? Did you get any more horror vibes throughout the movie for you? Or?
The Indoraptor gave me like it had a good few moments like in the dark, and they were like running around like the fake little, I guess replica sets or whatever dinosaurs and all that. And for the most part, like whatever scene the Indoraptor was in, usually it just I felt like it was a mix between the horror and the action that they were going for.
Okay, yeah.
And, I mean, even when he was falling down with Blue on him, like, I actually was, like, leaning forward in my seat thinking, like, are they both gonna die? Or like,
I thought they might kill Blue there, yeah.
Yeah.
For a second, yeah.
So, I mean, I thought that was great, and, I mean, that being said, I think the most horror feeling that I got was definitely at the very beginning of the movie, throughout, like, all the rest. Like, again, like, just with the Mosasaur setup, and then just going to that guy doing the computer work and the lightning would flash and the T-Rex was in the distance coming closer and closer. I thought that was fantastic. And him running, just I was on the edge of my seat thinking this feels so much like Jurassic Park. He's running and the T-Rex is behind him. He's trying to get the frickin' ladder and he can't, and then they were willing to cut it loose and let the guy die or whatever. Then the Mosasaur jumps out and then the T-Rex is standing there, and just when the gate didn't close and the Mosasaur gets out, I love that. I would have liked actually to have seen a little bit more catastrophe that the Mosasaur would have been causing, but
yeah, I guess I'll be saying that for the next one.
Yeah, which that'll be nice. I mean,
how do those things produce other dinosaurs? If there's only one T-Rex, how do more T-Rexes happen? Because I'd imagine in my world of the Jurassic World 3, it's like a Planet of the Apes where it's like, okay, you know, these apes uprise and they grow and grow in population. Where this, like, what's that T-Rex gonna mate with?
Well, the whole thing with the first Jurassic Park was that it's, you know, what does he say? Life finds a way or whatever. It's because they filled the DNA sequences with frogs,
right?
And some frogs have the ability to asexually reproduce. That's how the dinosaurs were doing it. The raptors did it in the movies and everything. So
true, I forgot. Good point.
I don't know if that's something they
kind of have to if they want the world to be. If you want more than one T-Rex, you're gonna have to do that.
Then it could happen. Like if you look at, you know, Jurassic Park 2, The Lost World, the dinosaurs obviously didn't have to do that because they thrived in their conditions. You know, they were male and female dinosaurs and all that stuff.
They were thriving, all right.
They were thriving, yeah. So they didn't have to, but they never actually identify as if like Dr. Wu even came to terms with the fact that the dinosaurs can breed by themselves or whatever. And I guess it never happened in Jurassic World. So maybe it was something that they eventually fixed and they rectified.
Yeah.
But that being said, as far as I'm concerned, it's the same T-Rex from Jurassic Park 1, so that same T-Rex could reproduce by itself. As for all the more modern dinosaurs that were made, I don't know.
I'm sure that would be the same.
Yeah, so that would be a great setup. I mean, you're absolutely right. I definitely got Planet of the Apes vibes from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and I love that because I love the Apes trilogy.
I didn't get that from this movie. I got that from the setup because this movie is just them in a mansion. You know, I want to see when it's like them versus the lion, which the lion in real life would run away. The lion wouldn't roar back. The lion's not stupid. It could see this huge thing and be like, no, I'm out of there. You know, or stuff like when they're surfing and they see like the dinosaurs. They're like, I'd like the first on like the montage of the movie just to show like how the world maybe collapsed with these dinosaurs or whatnot, and then maybe we're into. I hope it's kind of like a somewhat almost like apocalyptic sort of world going on. Like I'm not sure how you could get that because obviously Planet Apes did that where there was a disease that outspread. So
yeah, it depends how fast things go to shit, because if you look at The Lost World, Jurassic Park 2, if they didn't get that T-Rex back into the boat, that helicopter is ready to blow its brains out.
Well, yeah, that's the thing where I thought at the end of the day when they maybe just decide, hey, we got to nuke wherever they were, you know, like...
Yeah, I think, you know, if they want to dispatch these dinosaurs, they'll do it easily. The one thing that I think would be hard, you know, if you got, like, Blue the Velociraptor, that's going to be probably one of the only things that'll be really difficult to get.
Yeah.
Or to kill. But I feel like, you know, there's a lot of these black market dealers that did get away with their dinosaurs. So you got that to take into account. But I mean, there's still a lot of stories that they gotta cover.
Well, because that's where I feel like you gotta somehow set up an apocalyptic world, because I feel like, I don't know how they can do it, but I feel like even though T-Rex is huge and could do a lot of damage, I still feel like us as a society with our army, we could take down a T-Rex now. You know, 3 or 4 tanks, the T-Rex would die.
Oh, 1 tank.
Well, yeah.
It wouldn't even be able to get into
I was giving
tank.
it some credit. Come on. So, like, what did you say?
It wouldn't be able to get into 1 tank.
Get into 1 tank?
Get into 1 tank.
What do you mean get
like,
into 1?
Rip it apart or anything.
Okay, I think it meant like...
No.
Like, no, of course it couldn't. Yeah, so that's why I feel like they need to find some sort of way. So I'm not sure if that's like countries are at war with each other because of this. I'm not sure. Or maybe that's where Dr. Wu will get into it, where he has all that stuff and maybe they'll go make more dinosaurs and then, you know, they're running around. But I kind of hope that happens. Some way they should do like a Planet Apes style sort of thing. So...
couple other things I'll shout out. I love the more heavy use of animatronics in this movie.
Was there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure because the Indoraptor's all CGI.
He's all CGI, yeah. I think the only, like, the heaviest moments that I noticed was, like, when they were getting the T-Rex blood and Blue being operated on. Like, lots of those moments I loved the use of the animatronics. I feel like I just rewatched Jurassic Park 1 actually a couple days ago, and I wish that the T-Rex in so many more scenes had that. Like, it looks like, I get it's CGI, but it looks so different from the original Jurassic Park T-Rex. And I love the look of the original Jurassic Park T-Rex, and I wish that those animatronics could have been applied to this movie in an even heavier sense. You know, even the raptor having so many moments of it being animatronic was just fantastic.
Yeah.
But then again, I loved what they brought, and they displayed in this movie. I think it was great, and it was a lot more than what they did in Jurassic World. One moment that really kicked the crap out of me was when they were leaving on the boat and the I don't even know what that was called. Either a Camosaurus or a... not a Brachiosaurus. I'm not sure what it was. It was the long neck. And, just him dying. Oh.
Yeah, that was the best part of the movie. Not because he was dying, but that was very well shot in the score. So no, that was a part that I thought, okay, that was a great part. Mm-hmm. So that was very well done. So.
Gosh, yeah. No, I love the boat scene. I love the whole vibe of them just going to the island and just everything in ruckus and such. I love the... I felt like I was holding my breath when they were in the gyrosphere and they were underwater. I love the Carnotaurus just getting taken out by the T-Rex, and as soon as that bang went, the T-Rex just snapped out of it and ran off.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know why. I still feel like it paused for a little too long to not kill Chris Pratt and the others, so that kind of bugged me a little bit, but I guess the bang scared it, I guess, so.
I love seeing the whole new variety of carnivores. Jurassic Park has always been, you know, velociraptors, compies, and, you know, T-Rex. And then they had, you know, your Spinosaurus, your Ceratosaurus, but it was finally nice to see, you know, we got, like, Carnotaurus, and we got, what's the other guy? Allosaurus. There's so many other new variety of dinosaurs in this movie. That was just so good. It wasn't the same old, same old.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a Spinosaurus. That probably was a bit of a long shot.
Oh, yeah. Anything else?
Not that I can think of right now.
No. These are a few things that grind my gears a little bit. And when they were running around the end chase scene, there's a gun. Chris Pratt sees it. He slides to get the gun, and he gets it, and then he just stands right back up and starts walking. I don't know why he slid. And that's why, for me, once I started to not like this movie, there's little things like that that started to stick out. So I don't know why he slid. I don't know how they got that glass ball open from Jurassic World with just his little pocket knife. You know, like we saw in the last movie, the Indominus Rex, correct? Like, throw that thing around like nothing, and it stayed, and all he did was... I guess he shot it twice?
I took it that he
wouldn't know how to open that.
No, but I think I took it as he put it inside, like the lining part, you know, where it closes, and he just kind of managed to wedge it so it just popped open.
I just felt like the knife was so small that couldn't happen. I'm like, oh, how are they going to get out of this? And then he ripped out that knife and he just did that. It's like, man, a T-Rex's tooth couldn't do this, you know? But,
well, in the Jimmy Fallon said it's supposed to stop a 50 caliber bullet, but his gun went through it. So I guess he was packing hard.
He was packing hard. So then there's a moment that I didn't really understand, and it's a moment you really have to get. You've probably just seen the movie. So it's when Chris Pratt gets tranked, and then the girl, like the little sidekick girl, she like sees the gun, and she gets the gun, and she like pulls the gun on them all, and they're all like, hey, 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 and then she's like, you need me, or the dinosaur is gonna die or whatnot, and then they all put down their guns, and then she puts down her gun. So I never understood why she actually held them up at any point. Because they weren't gonna kill her if she would have just said, "Hey, you
I
need
think
me."
they would have killed her. I think they.
But they didn't kill Pratt. They just
Well, the guy happened to be holding the trank thing, so I think it just happened. If he had a real gun, he would have probably shot him regardless. But he knew he would die.
That was the other thing about the plan. I didn't know him bringing them in because I know they had to get Blue, but I don't know why. Okay, you could trank them, but when the villain, that's why he felt very one note to me, because the villain's like, I didn't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but you could have said, hey, trank them, but you don't gotta leave them die. We're literally we're gonna leave these people die and commit murder, because, people will eventually figure this out, so I thought that was a weird scene.
Well, I think if everything went smoothly, it would have been a different story. Like, if Chris Pratt didn't freak out, I think it would have been fine, and
But they were always leaving Claire in that little base house.
But they could have made whatever kind of story they wanted.
I guess, yeah. Another thing for me that we talked about in the trailer, which I'm not sure, it seems like you might like it now, so I gotta question you, is the Chris Pratt talking to the dinosaur and whistling at the dinosaur and getting it to do stuff. I don't know, because even I thought when we did the trailer review, you said you wouldn't be a fan. Blue was doing that. To me, this is a dinosaur that's untrained by him doing that, and that for me, another moment I was like, oh man, we're doing this, and I couldn't believe it.
I just took it as, the dinosaur, it wasn't being controlled or told what to do. It was just, it was drawn to the whistling and it pissed it off, and it was just ramming where the sound was coming from because it was that loud noise.
Yeah.
But if it was Blue, it would be a different story. I wouldn't like it if it was Blue. Well, I guess I wouldn't like it if, it was Chris Pratt saying that line, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
But he says that to a dinosaur that's dumb. He says it.
Yeah, but the dinosaur doesn't really respond and act like, I know what you're thinking, like a cheesy version of that. Like, if they're going for him saying that to Blue, it would have been totally cheesy because Blue, understands Chris Pratt to a degree, but that would have it would have been pointless. But him saying it to a dinosaur that doesn't have the same intelligence as a velociraptor, but he's just saying it just because it fits with his cocky attitude, says that he whistles, gets it in the elevator, and sends it on its merry way.
I just felt like it was a little too convenient that anytime he'd whistle, the thing would just come and hit the wall. Like, I don't know. We don't know if that's a thing they would do.
But it's kind of like, what could you do? If you whistle to a dog, the dog's going to come running, right?
Maybe, but I don't know if the dog's going to go through the wall.
Well, that thing obviously hated whistling a lot, and it has a very thick skull.
Pretty convenient.
So,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And my last thing, why did the Indoraptor fake passing out when I'm going to assume that the Indoraptor's never passed out before, when it got trank shot?
Oh, because it knew it would get out. It knew that would be the way.
But no, when it gets shot, why is that dinosaur in my version of this movie, that he's been in that cage and they bring it out. In my version, this dinosaur's never been shot, so how would the dinosaur know if he gets shot by tranks to pretend that he's knocked out? Because this dinosaur doesn't know what this does, right? So maybe it's been shot before or something like that, but if it hasn't, that for me is a little bit, I don't know. They're trying to make this dinosaur almost a bit too smart for my liking.
They definitely could have, enlightened the audience a little bit more in that sense, but I just took it as this dinosaur, it either knew to play tranked or knew to play dead. I'm not sure. Or, that being said, maybe the trank actually did hit it and it could feel its effects and it wasn't powerful enough to actually take hold, but it knew what the guy was obviously doing.
Yeah.
It knew that, oh, this bullet was putting me to sleep. I'm just going to play off like that.
Yeah.
So.
Alright. Anything else before we do our final thoughts on rating?
No, I think I'm good for final thoughts.
Okay, I will go. Yeah, I did not find much enjoyable about this movie. I like that scene when we talked about that dinosaur, the long neck, there and dying. That was a very emotional scene because, it's an animal dying and it was very well done. I liked the flashbacks and the scenes they had with Pratt and Blue. And for me, that was about it. I didn't have much that I enjoyed about this movie. There's a few things here and there. I guess cinematography was alright because Dylan brought that up. I was like, yeah, it was alright. There were some good shots, but for me, it's kind of this thing of like all movies for me in my rating start at a 5, and it's something like if I give a movie a 10 out of 10, and I might be like, you look at Black Panther and you look at, I think it's Cobby or always forget how to say that guy from Get Out's name. Cobby, the guy who's the turncoat with the rhinos in Black Panther. He turned.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so that for me, Black Panther 10/10 movie, but I still give it like that's a little minor flaw of like, yeah, he turns really quickly. But for me, it's this thing of like, there's so much good, it kind of outweighs the bad, so it can't hurt that score. Where this is kind of that thing for me where it had that base of a 5 and it starts to go down, and then there's little things that just for me personally started to ignore me that I couldn't keep giving it a 5 or something like that because it just like kept bringing it down. So I would give this a 1 out of 10 for myself because of those two things I liked, and there's a few good shots. But I not enjoy this, and I will never watch this again unless we have to do some sort of commentary track or retro. But I don't think we need to do a retro for this. We can do the first 4 and go from there. And yeah, and I didn't even have. Maybe if I see it again one day, I can have like a so bad it's good time, but. Like I said, I compare this to Pirates where I don't want that from these movies. I want to enjoy it. There's some movies when I go see Rampage or Tomb Raider when I'm not that invested. I'm like, I hope this is so bad it's good, or at least it's good. Where this is like, I want it to be good to great, and for me that was not the case for this go around. So maybe Jurassic World 3 is going to do it. So.
For me, I was totally pulled in and invested in this story from start to finish. I felt like I was there with these characters. I felt like I was making these decisions with these characters, and
10 out of 10.
Well, maybe. Like I said, I definitely think that the first movie, Jurassic World, did justice in its own way, and this movie does justice in other ways. I feel though that Jurassic World was brought to us, and it was great as a starter film to pull all the original fans of Jurassic Park in and bring in all the new fans and the younger generation into this franchise. And I feel like we have our Jurassic Park, Lost World, Jurassic Park 3 that's good for, the generation of us that were alive at that time and that like movies kind of done like that.
That like movies.
That like movies,
Just
yeah.
in general, yeah.
I feel like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom it's gone in a very new direction. It's taken a lot of elements from the previous films, but it's been set up and built to really attract and pull in not our generation, but the generation now that's growing up. And I feel like enough. We may hate it, we may not like it, but I feel like it's very parallel to Star Wars at this point. In the sense,
very
we
much.
got The Force Awakens, which it's a huge, build up and takes qualities like from the originals, just like, Jurassic World did, and, everyone loves it, and then you move along, and now we have a movie that's it's taken elements, but it's gone in a bold new direction, and, people, we love it, we hate it. That being said...
Again, I think it sets it up for us a new direction, but I don't think this movie was a bold new direction because there's many things from Jurassic Park 3 and Lost World that are in this. This felt more of like a setup movie. I'm trying to think of what would be... It almost feels like some of the lesser Marvel movies where it's like we just made this movie so we get to the next one, And that's almost where... I guess I have to do that because I guess you couldn't start the movie off of like a 10-minute somehow the dinosaurs got here, but maybe that would have been good if we just started with, for me, and maybe this happens the next week, we started with Owen and it's like, the world's completely go to shit and we don't know why, and we're trying to figure that out, right? Because there's lots of apocalyptic movies that we never find out why the world went to crap, just start the movie off and have it because I just feel like we didn't. That was one of my problems. I feel like we didn't achieve anything other than we got to that ending. But I almost wish we just started at that ending. But
yeah, But yeah, no, I feel like where they're moving with these movies that they are built for the next generation. I feel like we can forget that. We feel like we didn't like the movies or this and that. But then again,
you say that like you didn't like the movie, but you liked.
I liked the movie. I liked it. And that's perfect. I'm lucky, but I feel like it's just. I gotta remember, that whether I like a movie or not, that these movies are starting to be made for the next generation after us that's growing up and, that loves the dinosaurs. And that's big, because when I was walking out of the theater, there were these 2 kids in front of me, and the one kid said, I burned so many calories. And the mom said, why, because it's scary? And the kid said, yeah, it was so good.
What a weird thing for a kid to say.
Yeah, but I loved it because I could see little Taylor in that moment. And I'm like, this kid is, growing up now, getting his set of Jurassic Park movies, and I think, you know, that's fantastic, that's great. I got that, and this generation is getting that too, and that's brilliant. So I definitely enjoyed the movie. I think it had so many good scary scenes, tense scenes, funny scenes, and a good mix of, you know, hot dino hybrids in there that I really liked.
Hot dino.
No, yikes. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing what the third one brings and what we're gonna get out of that. No hybrids, so that's a huge thing.
No hybrids.
No hybrids.
Daily reminder: no hybrids. Jurassic
no
Park
hybrids.
3. I gotta put one of those in the chat.
Yeah, I love the score very much. I've listened to the soundtrack; it's fantastic.
Have you got an Apple Music or Spotify yet?
No.
Oh my god!
It's still a work in progress. But it'll happen. It'll happen. I'll get that Apple Music soon. But I would have to give this movie. I don't want to give it a 10 out of 10 because I feel like it could do so much better with certain moments.
Okay.
And, you know, as much as I loved what this movie brought, I wanted more of what the beginning of the movie had throughout the rest of the movie, I guess. Because I think the beginning sequence, I was just so in love with it. And I wouldn't have been...
the island and everything like that?
Well, just like the very beginning horror scene, just how it built up.
Yeah.
And that being said, even them just being on the island, I would have liked a lot more of that being on the island.
Well, there are 4 movies of them all on the island.
Yeah,
so
I guess that's why I'm kind of going back. But I mean, I did 3 Jurassic Park marathons leading up to this. Like, I went intense. Like, I loved it.
3. So you watched the 4 movies back to back 3 separate times?
Back to back. Of course, when I got to the 3rd time, I kind of jumped around between movies. So
You macheted the order?
Yeah, I didn't watch them all in order.
Have you ever done that with Star Wars, the machete order, where you're supposed to watch 1, 2, and then, or sorry, you're supposed to watch 4, 5, and then you watch 2 and 3, and then you watch 6?
No, I didn't understand why anyone would do that.
Because it's supposed to be like, because you get, so it's like, obviously it's like Luke's story, and then you get the reveal of Vader's story, and then those 2 movies are like flashbacks movies to show like how Vader got to this point. And then the 6th one is to cap it all off, and the reason you don't watch Phantom Menace is because it's Phantom Menace. So, which I don't know what you heard. I did rewatch. I am rewatching it right now. So.
Right now, you're rewatching it.
Yeah.
Like literally, when I came over, you had.
Last night I was.
Why?
I said this to Dylan. I said I'd never watch them again. I don't really want to, but I watched Suicide Squad, and that reminded me of Will Smith and Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie are great in that movie, and all this talk of Obi-Wan. And if I want to see Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan, the only way I can do that is watch the prequels.
Yeah, that's true.
So I literally just wanted to watch the Obi-Wan scenes, but I watched the full thing. So
it's good. It's a good ride.
It's a good ride, alright.
But I would, I'll give this movie a 9.5.
9.5.
It did so much for me in so many of the right ways, and I'm gonna go see it again next Tuesday. And
I'm surprised you've not seen it again yet.
I've been busy, actually.
Oh, okay.
I've not been able to crack down and do it. I was going to try and see it, because what's today? Today's Wednesday. I wanted to go see it yesterday, actually. My dad was busy, and I'm going to take him to see it, so I'm going to take him to see it next Tuesday.
Should do your Cinemia sign up, and you can do that,
The Cinemia, yeah, maybe I will, I'm sure you can hook Dylan into it, though, or something like that. Does it work at both theaters, or? Yeah,
it works at the West Side. Why do you say hook Dylan into it? I'm not doing this to try and get the $5. I would like the $5. You get the $5 too, but I'm doing this because I know we see and review a lot of movies, so it might not be a bad idea.
It's tough because like if I get it,
if you get it, you have to do 3 movies a month, and maybe because you already pay for enough. So let's say, like I said, for something like Ant-Man, where you pay for advance, then even for another $15, you could see 3 other movies. So even that cheap Tuesday, you don't got to worry about being a cheap Tuesday because you go on a cheap Wednesday or Thursday.
I'll have to plan it out because
Taylor has a huge thing. I'm gonna bring this up on the next afternoon with subscription services, Xbox Game Pass.
What are you talking about?
Xbox.
I got Xbox Game Pass.
Finally,
I got it. Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. Have you played it all?
No,
he just did the Hail Jesus to Sea of Thieves and he didn't play it. But that took him so long to get on Apple Music. This guy listens to so many movie soundtracks and scores that he could be getting all for the same price. He hasn't done that. Same thing with Cinemia. we are the people that host this podcast have more reason to do that, to get something where we could pay $15 and see 3 movies a month, and Taylor's like, well, I don't know, like...
That'll be a good topic. I'll think of some comebacks to that.
I don't know what you just remind me of. Some of those guys that are just like, the government's gonna take all our guns, and like aliens are coming, and they have like
the aliens won't come.
Oh no! Do you have like a hut built somewhere where it's like you have a code and like an underground hatch?
If I had the money, I would do a bunker, 110%. Bigfoot aliens. I watched the documentary.
Bigfoot aliens?
No. There are connections between the two.
Oh,
but
God.
No, that's good after 9 topics. Remember those.
Yeah, I will. I think that's why Taylor, he needs the money for his underground hatches, so he's like, he's not buying a subscription service. But I'm saying, think about Timmy, you know, because it's just like, you know, if you want me to come see Robin Hood and stuff like that, you know. So
well, it's got my money either way.
I know, the movies still get their money, but either way, Taylor, where can they find us for? Like I said, in 2 days will be a newscast. And then after that will be Ant-Man and our 3-year anniversary. So we got some good cast coming out. And then we got Comic-Con coming up too. So I guess I should be pimping that out. So Comic-Con weekend, I should have done this at the beginning. Damn. Comic-Con weekend will have 4 casts for sure. We're going to have a Blade retrospective. I think at that point we'll be on Blade Trinity because we're going to do Blade 2, I think, next week, maybe. We're going to find out. But so a Blade movie will be retrospective. We have the Superhero Draft, the 2018 edition. If you want to get that right now, head over to Patreon for $1. You can get that because Dylan Musk is very close to getting some points. So the thing is, I really hope we have literally a month left. And if Jake Gyllenhaal does not get cast, thank goodness. Because if he does, then he won last year and he can re-pick a new person. So I'm hoping it at least doesn't happen until July. But there's tons of fun casts, one of our biggest episodes. And then we'll be doing podcasts on the Friday and the Saturday. I'm not sure how many there will be. Friday is going to be like a wrap up of all the news of that day. And then Saturday is when DC has their panel. And we're rumored to get an Aquaman trailer and Shazam and even some Wonder Woman footage. So there's no... MCU, but there is Marvel TV and there is DC, and even like last year, like Stranger Things had their trailer, Jigsaw had their first trailer, so like we're all so like there's gonna be other stuff we're talking about. So the Friday and Saturday of Comic-Con, we're gonna be covering that and probably do some other shenanigans. Maybe we'll do another After 9, and that's where I'll bring this up. But where can they find us for all the shenanigans? Because you're gonna want to subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. We got a big month ahead.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you know you can find us with the internet connection in the search bar. Go into Google, on Google type in Facebook. When you go to Facebook, sign in, log in, all that fun stuff. Then in that search bar on Facebook, type in GeekVerse space podcast. Space bar, not the space word, and you're going to get taken to this awesome page with awesome profile picture, cover photo, and you're going to scroll down or scroll up because the like button is going to be right at the top. How convenient for you? It's convenient. I mean, just
convenient like a dinosaur you can whistle at, ladies and gentlemen.
So click it, and then you'll be taken to some awesome stuff, including our Marvel poll is literally wrapping up. It's in the final stages. Yeah. This Saturday will be the last one, actually.
I voted during this cast because I got a notification it was live. It is a fucking crime that Doctor Strange has made it this far.
I'm actually really shocked.
Ridiculous.
That's nuts.
This is your fault for putting Cap and Iron Man. You should have left them in because they could have killed everybody. But like Doctor Strange, but yeah, go vote for Thor. Thor, ladies and gentlemen.
I voted for Thor. He needs to win
more. He needs to win.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, most importantly, go to geekverspodcast.com where you can go to Facebook, go to Twitter. Like I said, the pin post right now, send in your questions. We will answer anything, however long it is, whatever the question is. Let us know because it's a fun cast and we like to hear back from you guys. So please hit us up with those questions. Subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, YouTube, the whole shebang to get video and podcast services. And if you want us to go somewhere else, let us know. We'll probably be there. If not, we'll figure it out. So thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back in a few days with a newscast, and I promise you it will not be boring.
Life finds a way. Boy.